Hey everybody, Bloodman Bobby here. So I realized that it's been around a week and a half since I posted my last video. In all honesty, I just felt like I needed to take a break. I was experiencing a lot of stress for a number of reasons, and I didn't want to take it out on you or my social media followers or even my friends. So for that reason, I just figured it would be best for me to spend around a week and a half with spending time with more of my family. I celebrated my birthday while I was away. I'm really appreciative of the birthday wishes I received on Twitter and Instagram. But I miss doing videos. I was starting to get back in the groove of just getting back into a sort of going about my normal day, and I miss doing these videos, and I certainly miss talking with you about the movies and topics that I usually cover here on the Bloodman Bobby YouTube channel. So as promised, I'm going to be covering some HBO Max content, starting off with Detective Pikachu. It's funny because when I saw the trailers for Detective Pikachu, I did a bunch of trailer reactions back when the movie was coming out, and I just thought it looked kind of goofy. I thought Ryan Reynolds' acting in the trailers, while entertaining, was a little too Deadpoolish, and I thought some of the Pokemon designs kind of seemed a little creepy. Well, after seeing this movie at long last, is what did I personally think of it? I actually thought it was actually quite surprising. In many ways, it was kind of the movie that I needed. I've got my favorite Pokemon here, Piplup. Let's ask Piplup, what did you think of Detective Pikachu?
It was a pretty good movie, but I just wish it had more piplups.
But in all seriousness, let's go ahead and talk about Detective Pikachu. So Detective Pikachu is about a character named Tim Goodman, and he teams up with this talking Pikachu, the title character played by Ryan Reynolds. They team up to go find Tim's missing father, Detective Harry Goodman, who is believed to be dead, but Detective Pikachu believes that it's very likely that he is still alive. And along the way, they try to figure out who's behind this plot involving these purple vials of gas that when released, it makes Pokemon go all wild and crazy and violent. So they're solving that mystery as well. And along the way, he's joined by a reporter named Lucy, whose Pokemon is a Psyduck. As I said in previous videos, I have a very on and off relationship with Pokemon. Like, I basically get the gist of how it works. Trainers go around with Pokemon and use them to fight other Pokemon, whether in the wild or trainers' Pokemon, and they get into things like gym battles and, or they enter contests. So I get the basic gist of Pokemon. I watch the show every once in a while as a kid. I've played the games. I've played Pokemon Leaf Green, Pearl, Platinum, and Shield, but I'm not very good at the Pokemon games. I mostly enjoy Pokemon more from a sort of superficial perspective, in a way where I like to purchase the plushes of the different Pokemon, and every once in a while I do like to watch these shows and movies like this one. So I would consider myself somebody who's fairly familiar with the Pokemon universe, since I've watched the shows and played the games at different times throughout my childhood. And so I'll start off by getting into what I really liked about Detective Pikachu. And this is actually really surprising for me, because when I go into a Pokemon movie or a Pokemon episode, I'm usually expecting really deterministic characters, really strong archetypes. Of course, you get a lot of Pokemon battles, and every once in a while, the really good ones have a lot of heart in them. Well, it turns out I got all of that in this movie, as well as a really strong story. It's actually a legitimately engaging mystery. I'm really delighted that throughout Detective Pikachu, it's the kind of really good mystery where you're constantly asking yourself, what's going on, and trying to guess what's going to happen next. Like throughout this movie, I was wondering what happened to Tim's father. There's a corporation that gets brought up, and even though yes, there are obviously it's run by a villain, it still took a while for me to pick up on what was going on with them, even down to what was going on with why did the Pokemon Mewtwo break loose. Because at the beginning of the movie, it seems like Mewtwo is involved in this car accident that really hurt Harry Goodman. I really liked how this movie he kept me guessing. I would argue the story and the mystery itself were the strongest points in this movie. Yeah, I was honestly really glad that it had that in going in this movie, and I'm not gonna get into any spoilers or anything like that in this review. It's really it's surprisingly one of those movies where I dare not spoil the film, and I honestly really wished I saw this movie back when it came out in theaters, because it's actually, the story itself is surprisingly good, and it throws a lot at you in terms of throwing in a good mystery. It does teeter to the point of being a little overly complex for my taste. Like, it's the kind of thing where I kind of have to like go back. Like, I was watching this movie on HBO Max, so at times I would have to go back and rewind the movie and jump back to parts, think, wait, so this happened and that happened, and trying to connect the dots. So it does get a little on the complex side, but I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's on the level of something like Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. But and all it has, it is a legitimately good mystery that throws a lot of good questions at you and really surprising twists. And I think this is why the trailers may have come off as kind of goofy and gritty, is that they really didn't want to give away a lot of the details. So I gotta give the advertising of the film some credit there. So I thought the mystery itself was quite good. There's also a lot of creative scenes. One of my favorite scenes in this movie, in fact, was there's an interrogation scene in Mr. Mime, and I really liked they try to do things, with Mr. Mime, the character is acting like, the kind of mime you would see in a circus, and the lead characters go along with it, and one of the things that Tim does is he pretends to he's gonna do the thing where he pours gasoline on Mr. Mime and he's gonna light up a fuse, and I thought that scene, I mean, obviously he's pretending, he's miming the actions, but I thought that was really creative, and I really liked that scene. I thought that was a lot of fun. And look out for this scene where Tim and Lucy go looking for clues near this laboratory, and it gets, without getting too spoilery, it gets kind of Inception-ish. Like, it kind of, I felt like I was watching those really crazy scenes from Inception where, like, where the setting of the scene is like, ripping into, is like, transforming and terraforming all over this place. I kind of got Inception vibes watching that scene. Like, look out for this scene. I really don't want to give away why the ground is spinning around and transforming all over the place. It's a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of creative scenes. I really like the story. I thought the characters, they do pretty good job. They're well acted characters, and yeah, I just thought that Detective Pikachu had a really surprisingly strong story, and it had some creative imagery thrown in there. So I'm really glad to see those kind of things in Detective Pikachu. As far as my critiques go, I do think that the cast is overall really well acted. I do really like how in this movie, some of the most enjoyable aspects were, I liked how characters like Lucy and the villains just kind of had that Pokemon vibe where they were very very determined sort of characters, and you could clearly tell who's the good and bad guy, but in an enjoyable kind of way. The one actor that I kind of scratched my head over was Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu. Not that he did a really bad job or anything. Like, I do think that he's able to make a sympathetic character, and I really did sympathize with Detective Pikachu, especially when things started going tough at the end of the film. But I do think that some of the lines he was given and his delivery was a little too Deadpoolish. Like, obviously Detective Pikachu and Deadpool objectively are very different characters. Deadpool is I would say a bit more morally ambiguous and much more crass than Detective Pikachu. Like, obviously, Detective Pikachu doesn't go around, doing like cockshot jokes or anything like that, or cutting off like his hand, like what Deadpool did in the beginning of the Ryan Reynolds movie. But I thought that some of the lines he was given just kind of felt a little out of place, especially for a Pokemon movie, particularly the in jokes. And so I just thought that some of the in jokes that he was given maybe leaned in a little bit too much. Like, I understand Ryan Reynolds, arguably one of his most famous roles is Deadpool, but I thought that some of his lines could get a bit distracting. And if you wanna, and what's kind of funny is at the beginning of the movie, the guy who plays the taxi driver in Deadpool. Well, he's in the opening of the movie for a very brief moment as a Pokemon trainer. I was like, what is he doing here? Like, not that I don't want to see him in this movie, but I just kind of thought it was a kind of funny coincidence that he's in another Ryan Reynolds movie with a character who's also kind of jokey. Again, not to the same extent as Deadpool, but I just thought that it was just kind of interesting seeing this in Detective Pikachu. And I do think that in the end, I was able to warm up to a lot of the character designs in Detective Pikachu. Who, like I said in the trailer reactions that I thought some of the Pokemon looked a little too creepy and got on the verge of being uncanny valley territory, where it's like when you take a Pokemon and give it realistic features, it doesn't, it looks very off-putting. Some of them I do think turned out okay. Like I think of characters like Bulbasaur, Togepi, Snorlax looked fine. Charizard is one character that I thought it made sense to make him go creepy, because there's a scene where Charizard has a battle with Detective Pikachu, so I could understand in me so I could understand giving Charizard like a really like scaly sort of appearance. But I still think that some of the Pokemon teetered into that sort of creepy, uncanny valley territory, where it's like when you give the character realistic features, it just kind of feels off. Like, I saw that in characters like Emolga. Good God, Emolga! It's for a small scene, but Emolga, like the filmmakers gave Emolga like really realistic squirrel features, like a lot of fur and black beady eyes. So it's just like, ugh. I also thought Gengar looked pretty creepy. Jigglypuff just looked kind of strange to me. Apom, in the trailers, I actually found out that Apom, even though I still thought that even in his sort of normal state, looked kind of off-putting. When he's just by himself, he still looks really strange. It turns out, that scene in the trailers where he makes that like scary face and looks like it's roaring. It actually turns out it's because the Apom you saw in that scene of the trailer inhaled that purple gas, and so it was going scary and shit. So it's just like, okay, I could understand. But I don't know. I just kind of had a really mixed opinion on some of the character designs in Detective Pikachu. And I mean, in defense of this movie, since the Detective Pikachu movie, while comedic, goes for a bit of a sort of darker or neo-noir kind of style, like it's supposed to be kind of gritty, and I think some people will see it as going in that direction, but I just thought some of them just looked kind of strange when put in a sort of realistic style. Again, when I think about characters like Jigglypuff or Gengar, for instance, I was just like, what in the hell is going on here? I don't know. I mean, I definitely give the filmmakers a lot of credit. I'm sure they work hard. It's just that, in my opinion, some of them, when you put them in a sort of realistic fashion, it kind of goes into that sort of uncomfortable, uncanny valley that I don't really like. Some of them I do think was kind of nitpicking, because a few of the ones that I didn't like as much only appeared very briefly for some short scenes, but for others, it was just kind of awkward to me. But in all seriousness, the issues I had, things like a few of Ryan Reynolds' lines and the character and some of the character designs aside, are honestly, in my opinion, really small potatoes compared to what really makes Pokemon Detective Pikachu a really amazing movie, and that is the story and the mystery. Like I said, I was genuinely happy to see that this movie had a pretty strong story. And I do think it is a really good mystery, because it's the kind of thing where it kept me guessing. And I felt that a lot of the twists and discoveries that were made in this movie aren't going to be things that are going to be like, easy to predict. I think the twists were really surprising, and I'm really glad that Pokemon Detective Pikachu was a legitimately engrossing mystery. So, yeah, overall, in the end, I was really glad to see Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I'm honestly really bummed that I didn't get to go see this movie back when it was released in theaters. So, I definitely do recommend this movie if you could find it on like a VOD platform or if you have an HBO Max subscription. I definitely think it is worth at least one watch, and it is the kind of movie I would like to sit down with some friends or my sister and show the movie to, because I do think that there are some legitimate surprises in Detective Pikachu. So I'm really glad I saw this movie. I'm definitely coming back to YouTube. I hope to be posting my videos soon to Facebook. The next HBO Max movie that I personally would like to review is Danny Boyle's Yesterday, because I did a trailer reaction for that a while ago, and I consider myself a person who's getting into Danny Boyle. I like the films I've seen from him, and I do have plans to review some more HBO Max films, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so I'm definitely me back on YouTube, who've been back on social media. Really glad that I'm here. I just really enjoy making videos, and I hope it can become an even bigger part of my life at some point down the future. So let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think? Have you seen Pokemon Detective Pikachu? Did you see the movie? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Honestly, I really want to encourage, discussion from all angles. Like, as much as I do enjoy the movie, and I do hope to meet some people who liked Detective Pikachu, I also don't want people to shy away if they didn't like it as much, or if there's something in it that I missed that may warrant a second look. So let me know your thoughts down below if you've seen in this movie, or if you're interested in seeing Detective Pikachu. So until next time, this has been Blood Moon Bobby and Piplup.
Hi.
and we'll see you next time. So see you later. Hi everyone, thanks for watching this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos, and ring the bell to be notified about my latest uploads. Don't forget to follow me on social media for my latest opinions and video updates. I hope to see you next time.